Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, 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 yo, go. Go.
Hi, excuse me. Hello, everyone. I forgot to add myself to the stream, so I was just talking and not on the stream. So, I want to welcome everybody in today. Let me get to my comments. Welcome, Trouble, and welcome, Peaches. Today, I wanted to talk about diabetes. I did a video on living with diabetes, and I have another one coming out in a couple of days about diabetic diet and how important. Hello, Alicia. How important it is to take care of your diabetes through diet and exercise. But what I really wanted to say today is that I just got done taking a shower and I didn't fix my hair, so please forgive me. I am clean, though. I'm very clean. I'm just a little bit wet. I'm not dry. Hi, Carla. I have had diabetes for most of my adult life. I had a condition called polycystic ovarian syndrome, which I do have information on that as well. If I, I'll do videos about it later on. Anyway, what that is basically your body becomes resistant to insulin resistance, which also causes a lot of hormonal imbalances, which in my case made me not ovulate every month. And that's why I had 10 years of infertility when I started trying to have children. I had a lot of ovarian cysts. And that's basically what happens. You get a cyst instead of an egg when you do go through your menstrual cycle. Anyway, one of the side effects of okay, Peaches, have fun. Be careful, though. Anyway, so because of having that disease, and of course this was 40 some years ago, 50, almost 50 years ago, and they didn't know anything about that disease like they know about it now. So I was not treated. I was never diagnosed or treated for it. So I actually don't know when I went from being insulin resistant to being full-fledged diabetic. Now, a lot of people their doctor will tell them they're pre-diabetic. Or they have pre-diabetes. And what that means is that your body is starting to show signs of becoming insulin resistant. And at that point, when you're only in the pre-diabetic stage, you can definitely take steps to control that. Hi, Roxanne. You can watch your diet, watch your exercise, make sure you're not overstressed, get plenty of sleep. And all of those things will help your body, function better with the pre-diabetic condition. In my case, I didn't find out that I was technically diagnosed as being with polycystic or diabetes or high blood pressure, or that I had a low functioning thyroid. All four of those conditions I found out when I was pregnant with my daughter. So I was 34. I gave birth in September. I turned 35 the following, 4 months later that January. So I was already at risk because I was an older mother, first-time mother. I did end up having the gestational diabetes during the pregnancy, and then full-fledged diabetes. Now, most pregnant women, I think it's like 9% of pregnant women will get the gestational diabetes. However, they will their body won't need or won't be in that state after they give birth. It's usually just the taxing on the body of having the baby. I forgot to say, I do not have any kind of medical degrees. I'm not professing to be a doctor or anything like that. This is all strictly based on the information that I've researched and my own personal life experience dealing with diabetes. So I'm 60 now, and I was 34. So that makes it 26 years that I've been actively a diabetic, that I've known I've been a diabetic. The highest A1C, which is the 3-month hemoglobin test to see how controlled your diabetes been over the past 3 months, the highest recorded one I have in my medical file is 11.4. Now, normal is 5 and under if you do not have diabetes. And I have worked very hard, and now I'm proud to say my last A1C, which was done last month, was 5.8. So no, and that's with medication. Now, no, I am not as good as it needs to be. It needs to be 5 or below. But for right now, I maxed out on what medications I can be given. I do take oral medication, and I also take several injections. But there's not a whole lot more I can do other than diet and exercise. So if you've been following my channel, I'm sure you've seen my video about my swimming at the YMCA. That is what I do for my exercise. And plus I watch hello, Linda Marie. I also watch my 17, almost 18-month-old granddaughter Monday through Friday, like 10 hours a day. So running after her, that gives me a little bit of exercise. But basically for my bad back and my joints, I go swimming at the Y. I try to go three to 4 days a week, an hour to 2 hours at a time. They also have, hi, True Smiles. They also have a jacuzzi, which after I do my workout in the water, then I go and I relax in the hot jacuzzi. Okay, so let's talk about diabetes. I already kind of hit on pre-diabetes and the gestational diabetes. And then there is type 1 diabetes, which is what most children and young adults have. That's when their bodies basically don't make insulin at all. And so they have to be on insulin in order to live. Then there's type 2 diabetes, which is what I have, which most people develop it later in life, either from a medical condition like mine that causes them to be insulin resistant, or from genetic factors and unhealthy lifestyles. Now, our bodies were not made to take in all the processed foods that we now have. Our bodies were made to eat fresh fruits and vegetables and meat. We were not made to eat all of the pre-packaged convenience type foods. So basically your diabetic diet needs to be, it can be any kind of food, but it needs to be food that is in its purest form, if at all possible, and cooked without adding a lot of fat or sugar to it. Excuse me. As far as the living with diabetes, oh, okay. Stop. I'm going to read Carla's comment. She's listening to the balloon thing. It was first spotted over her town in Montana, and now it's over South Carolina. This is the big balloon that they're saying is from China, I believe, like a spy balloon or something. Anybody has any information on that, they can put it in chat and I'll read it out. Anyway, the things that diabetes does to your body, it slowly damages your blood vessels and your nerve cells. It basically attacks cells because our they're talking about shooting it down over the ocean. Oh wow. Okay. You need insulin to let your cells take in the sugar and use it as fuel or energy. When you don't have insulin, the sugar can't be used properly, and then sugar that isn't used floats around in your bloodstream and goes to all of your organs, and also builds up, and if it's not used, it turns into the dreaded word fat. Now, sugar turns to fat. Carbohydrates turn to fat. Fat is fat. Okay, so if you eat fat, you're going to probably it's going to turn to fat. There are healthy fats that you can eat that don't necessarily turn to fat. Most of the damages that are done to the body by diabetes include your eyes. You can get bleeders in your eyes and you can become blind from diabetes. Your heart, you can have heart attacks, strokes, heart disease. You can have kidney problems, kidney disease, kidney failure. You can have what I most likely, the only really complication I have so far is the nerve damage. I have nerve damage in my feet, and I'm starting to get it in my hands. I cannot feel my feet at all, and so that affects my balance as well. So I'm pretty clumsy, and it's easy for me to trip myself. And so I've had a lot of falls in the past. Good morning, Mystery Skies. So with that being said, I still have to, take care of the other parts of my body because over time, the diabetes can affect those areas. So every year I have the medical eye exam done, checking for any signs of the disease. I have heart workup, lung workup, kidney workup. All of that is monitored by my doctor so that if anything starts happening, we can catch it quickly and hopefully prevent it from becoming, serious complications. I put out a video about living with diabetes, and I want to play that for us now. So give me just a moment. Just in case nobody has watched it yet. It's not very long. I hope everybody's having a good Saturday. I've had a pretty relaxing Saturday, and I'm going to get together with a friend later this afternoon, go out for a little while. There we go. righty. I want to invite anybody who has diabetes or has questions that would like to come up on panel with me to have a discussion. I'm going to drop a link, and I'll do that real quick. There we go. So I take I take pills that help make my body more sensitive to the insulin. I also take a pill that helps me to eliminate some of the sugar through my urine, so it doesn't stay in my bloodstream. I take 2 kinds of insulin daily. One is a fast acting that I take with meals. The other is a long term one that I take twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. Hold on 1 second, please. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, so I take a shot morning and nighttime. And then I also take something called Trulicity, which I take I take mine on Wednesdays, but it's a once a week shot. And that also is to help your body use your own insulin more effectively. And with the combination of all those things and watching my diet and doing my exercise, I've been able to maintain that pretty good A1C in the past year and a half. Now, I will tell you, before my granddaughter was born, I was depressed. I did not have my sugar in control. Hello, Harold. Good morning. I did not have my diet or exercise under control, and I was a mess. I really was. I was sick. I was tired. I didn't really have much going on in my life. I was just, existing. And then I found out my daughter was expecting, and my life suddenly changed. And I decided I wanted to see that grandchild be born and raised. And so I had to get my act together. And so I started working really hard on my getting my diabetes under control, which then made me feel better. I wasn't quite as tired or sick. And I slowly became more and more active. And now I lead a pretty active life. But it hasn't been something that happened overnight. It's been a process. So I want to encourage everyone that if you are suffering with diabetes, please go to the doctor, get it checked out, get on proper medication, do the things you can do that you can control yourself to help make your life not only better and make your health better, but also to make it so you'll live longer. Diabetes is what they call the silent killer. A lot of people are walking around, don't even know they have it, don't know the damage it's doing. And then all of a sudden, they have a massive heart attack and they pass away. And really, that was a complication of the diabetes. Now, the doctor has told me diabetes does not kill you. What kills you is the symptoms and the complications that the diabetes causes on your body. But I'm here to say, I know I've had diabetes for probably, I'm going to say since I was 14. So we will say that is, I'm now 60. So 46 years or so. I've only known about it. My daughter's 25. So the past 26 years, I've pretty much been aware. So to go 20 years and not have it treated And then now to go 26 years trying to treat it. It's a difficult disease to treat. And diabetes at the time cannot be cured. It can be managed. And that's the hard part, because sometimes you don't feel sick. And sometimes you feel pretty good. And you think, I don't need all this, medication and all this stuff. And I can eat whatever I want to eat because I don't feel bad. But then on days when I feel bad, then it's like, wow, I'm sick. I do have something wrong with me. So you have to kind of get on that mind frame of what I'm doing is going to help me feel better over time. And you have to do it. Oh, I have a guest. Hold on one second. Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. This is my friend Harold. Everyone, this is Harold. Harold, this is everyone.
Well,
how are you today?
Well, I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
Struggling with the same thing you're talking about every day.
Yeah. Yes. It's it's something you have to manage. You can't just say, okay, I'm not going to do anything about it, or you can't think that the medication alone is going to, cure it, because it doesn't cure it.
No.
And the video I put out about the diabetic diet, most people think, oh, you're diabetic, you shouldn't have sugar. But it's not just sugar, it's your carbohydrates as well. And no food is off limits. They have what they call the short GI index, glycemic index. And what that does is that assigns a number value to every food. And so, like, even with your fruit, you have some fruit that has the low GI index and some that have a high. And in the video, I use the example of watermelon and strawberries. Strawberries have like a 25 and watermelons like a 75. So you can eat both watermelon and strawberries, but you can eat a whole lot more strawberries for a smaller amount of watermelon. So what I try to do is I try to pick the foods that are on the lower end of that index, and then I can eat more of them without the same effect as if I just have a little bit. So the same thing. If I want to have a piece of birthday cake, I'm going to have a small piece of birthday cake, but I could have a whole plate of fruit. So it's kind of like, do you want to have the quantity or just the, the flavor of that piece of cake, or, whatever. But hey.
Oh, I said hello, True Smiles. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. So that's all you have to do. You can eat all kinds of food. You don't have to limit yourself. If there's, certain foods that you really like, you can eat them. You just have to eat them in moderation. And you have to figure out along with your medication, if you can try to eat at the same time and take your medication at the same time, then your body gets more on a cycle and acts better, feels better. And also about the stress and the sleep. Stress is so bad on your body. And sometimes we don't even realize we're under stress. And then if you don't get enough sleep, that's when your body repairs itself, when you're sleeping. So you kind of have to make sure that you get that sleep so your body has a chance to heal for the next day that the damage is going to come from the diabetes and all. You want to tell us a little bit about your experiences with it?
Diabetes?
Uh-huh.
I deal with it by ignoring it.
Yeah.
Bad. I deal with it and it don't work, so I just said, well, I'll just ignore it. But it's like you said, you have things that's happening that you really don't realize is happening. Like, what is it? Your feet tingling when you lay down?
Yep.
Stuff like that.
And that's how it starts. I used to not be able to feel just the tips of my toes. And like if I would wear sandals, I would feel like there was something in between my toes when there wasn't anything there. But it's like the sensation of my toes even touching each other would make it, feel like that. But now I cannot feel my feet at all. And partially up my leg, I can't feel it. So if I get a cut or a scratch or anything like that, I don't necessarily know about it unless I look at my feet or look at my leg. True Smiles is asking, what about food? Okay, I'm not sure what you mean, what about food? Food is not your enemy by any means. You have to have food for fuel for your body to function properly. And you need all types of food. You don't, you need your protein and your carbohydrate and your fat. You don't just need to have, like, the people that do the drastic diets where they only eat meat, or they don't eat meat at all, or they only, they go high fat, they only eat fat, or low fat or no fat or low carbohydrates. Whenever you limit your body on any particular type of food, something is going to be lacking because of that. So it's better to be able to eat all food and be able to just do portion control. I also talk about in the other video about the plate method, where they say you divide your plate into fourths and you eat 2/4 or half of the plate of your non-starchy vegetable. And then you have a fourth of it would be your meat or your protein. And then the other fourth is going to be your starch or starchy vegetables. So basically, instead of having rice with a little bit of meat and vegetable, you're going to have a little bit of rice with a lot of meat and vegetable. So you just have to balance those carbohydrates out.
I've got to step down. I didn't realize what time it was. It's
yeah, you got to go do your live.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Y'all have a great day. Nice meeting you.
All right. You too.
See you later.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Okay. True Smiles, did that explain it kind of about the food, or do you want to ask some more questions? Let's go ahead and pull up that the presentation that I have, that I made the video off of for the diabetic diet, and we'll just look at some of the examples. Maybe I didn't explain it as well as I could. Let's get to the... I like this graphic. I'm just a girl looking at a bowl of salad, waiting for it to turn into a bowl of donuts. The diabetic diet. So what can I eat as a diabetic? Everything and anything. What? Yes. In moderation, there are no foods that are off limits. You want to eat a variety of healthy food. The glycemic index gives a value to each food based on how quickly and how high those foods cause increase in your blood glucose levels. So how fast does it raise your sugar? A sugar spike can occur when carbohydrates turn into sugar and enter the bloodstream, which is exactly why when you're feeling sluggish and tired and you drink a Coca-Cola and you eat a Snickers bar, you immediately have a burst of energy and you feel so much better. It's because your body was lacking in that and needed some fuel. Every food has a GI index, and I try to choose foods that I like that have the lower index. I can eat a lot more of the foods that have the lower index that don't spike my sugar. So for examples, like I talked about the strawberries. Strawberries are 25 and the watermelon is 75. So I can eat 3 times as many strawberries as I can the watermelon. Yes, True Smiles. And yes, Mystery Skies. It's something you have to manage. You can't just take it for granted. Okay, same thing on the starchy vegetables. Okay, Asparagus is a 15, and white potatoes is a 95, and a sweet potato is probably a 75. So if you really wanted a potato, you're better off to have the sweet potato. But you can eat a whole lot of asparagus and it won't raise your sugar nearly as much as even one small potato. And then even with rice, white rice is a 90, brown rice is a 45. So you can eat twice as much brown rice to your white rice without it raising your sugar anymore. Everything you eat gets broken down into glucose. The body uses glucose as fuel for energy. Even protein and fats will break down into glucose. It just takes them longer and they don't raise your blood sugar as fast. Your body needs real food, not processed food. Okay, and this is the plate method. And they suggest using a 9-inch plate or smaller because it's a visual thing. You want to see your plate as being full. You want to feel like you're having a good portion of food. So if you put it on a huge plate and you measure it out, it's going to feel like, well, I'm not even eating half what I normally eat. So you make this plate smaller and then it looks to your eyes, to be more. Again, half the plate is the non-starchy vegetables. A fourth of the plate would be your protein, and the other fourth of the plate would be your carbohydrates. They also suggest that you drink either water or a low-calorie drink that's not going to raise your blood sugar. And I basically said what that slide says. So here's a nice example of it. We've got a lean protein. We've got a lot of broccoli. And then you've got some corn and some grain. I think it's probably rice with it. And this little graphic says, forget the health food. I need all the preservatives I can get. It's just a little making fun. Old people, they want to be preserved to stay younger. A healthy diet will include fruits, vegetables, lean meat, and healthy fats, yes. The key to a diabetic diet is to find foods and recipes that you love and eat a variety of fresh food. You need to have what I call a go-to dinner. Find a favorite meat or vegetable and make it up ahead, so that you have it when you're hungry. You have something quick you can eat. Don't let your lack of preparation cause your sugar to spike. Keeping your sugar under control will definitely add days to your life. So what I basically do is I make meals that fit into the diabetic diet, and then I freeze. I eat that night what I've made, and then I freeze more portions of it. And then when I'm hungry and I don't want to cook, I have like my own homemade TV dinners. I also eat a lot of soup, and soup is very easy to freeze. Okay, keep healthy snacks ready to eat. I love eating fresh fruit and vegetables as a snack. You can eat unsalted nuts. This shows having on a whole wheat bread, maybe some. Maybe that's cottage cheese or some kind of maybe cream cheese, some radishes, and then you can have unsalted almonds, you can have carrots, apples, whatever it is you like to snack on, just make it a healthy snack. And it's best that you do try to eat 3 meals a day and 3 snacks. And so that basically means you're going to be eating all the time. Every 2 to 3 hours, you're basically going to eat a little something. You want to try to stay between 15 to 2,000 calories a day. And I think that's it for that video. Okay. So, anybody else have any questions about diabetes or about the diabetic diet that I could answer? Or anybody want to come up and share experience with diabetes or ask any questions? I dropped the link again. Mystery Sky says, I know somebody that is diabetic, so I see how they work. It is nothing easy. You have to stay on top of it. And that's definitely true. Like I said, you have to manage it. There's no way that you can, not pay attention to these things. I'm going to go ahead and end this live and then come right back on, and we can just chat about whatever. And then that way, anybody that just wants to watch the live about the diabetes, they can see that part. So I thank everyone for coming. And if you're still around in just a couple minutes, I'll be back live. Thank you. Bye-bye.